Hi, this is Kevin Deal, and today we're going to talk about the Feliks Audio Envy headphone amp. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so excited to do this. This is my personal unit, okay? So if you saw the other video that we did on this, I mentioned it once before, and you'll see that when we took this to Can Jam, I said something to my employees that took my personal unit to the store. What did I say to them? Don't fuck it up. Do not damage this. That's what I said, because this is so dear to me and I love it so much. If they would have gotten one nick on it, and when it came back, I started looking at it and I thought I saw something in the wood and I was rubbing on it and stuff. I mean, this is it. This is serial number 1. It's in solid walnut. I mean, look at this thing. Look, I gotta say something. I have had a love affair with Feliks Audio for a long time because what they do makes sense. Headphones are speakers, but they are just little speakers. And because they are headphones, many of them have a high impedance. So when you have a tube headphone amplifier, or any tube amplifier, the single most important part and the most difficult part of making a tube amp is the output transformers. So if you can get rid of the output transformer problem, then it is a match made in heaven, and you can do that in so many instances. So Feliks is known for OTL designs, output transformerless. I learned about Feliks when I was at the Focal factory, and I had learned that they used the Feliks Euphoria in their research and development lab, and that they love it, and that people who have Focal Utopia headphones find it's the most popular headphone amp to use with that headphone. And so I'm so proud to be associated with them, and I'm so happy that they decided to go and do something that was a step beyond. There are some headphones that don't work well with OTL amps. And then there's some people that say, I don't care, I just want the very, very best available. And that's why they call it the Envy. I mean, this headphone amp is the envy of every other headphone amp on the market. There is nothing. And I'm going to tell you something. Before they took this to Can Jam, I had it set up over here at the store, and I compared it to some other stuff, some expensive stuff. And the difference was so stark, it was unbelievable. I'm going to explain that to you, what makes it so different. So let's look at the outside. You can get it in this solid oak, which is solid. This is not some veneered box, or solid walnut. I mean, this is made out of a block of walnut. It runs a pair of 300B tubes, and I love 300Bs. I love them, and they are so, so cool when they are single-ended. Now, if you get the performance version, it's going to come with the Electro Harmonics 300B. I'm sorry. Standard version is the Electro Harmonics 300B. The performance version is the TJ Full Music mesh plate 300B. Both of them use the PS Vane CV181, which is kind of like a 6SN7 variant in the front end. Oh man, there's a control switch on the back to turn the power on and off, but that is the full power off. It also has kind of a cool standby switch in the front. So if you leave it powered on in the back, you can just come up to the front and just tap it, and it powers up the amp for you. How cool is that? Now, the standby does not leave the tubes cooking or anything like that. It's just a nicer way to turn on the amplifier and wake it up. The volume control is an Alps Blue Velvet potentiometer. It has 3 sets of inputs in the back, 2 sets of RCAs, and 1 set of XLRs. And then up in the front, you have both balanced and a 6.3 millimeter plug in the front. Man, and the cool thing about this is that you can use it also as a preamplifier, and an amazing preamplifier that has the glory of the 300B sound, and it has single-ended out as well as balanced out. And how did they achieve that? Let's look inside and see what the magic is. This is the magic. Lundahl transformers. Lundahl, made in Sweden. Now, I talked to Lucas from Feliks Audio, and he said it was hard to find, it was hard to afford to put them into the less expensive version, but they had tried other transformers and the difference in performance was just too great. So they went all out and put the big kahuna Lundals in both models. So that's how you handle the balanced connectivity, and I'm glad they spent the money on that. And if you look everywhere here, everywhere, this is about dropping the noise, dropping the noise. Remember what I told you? Don't try to power your way to better sound. Do it by dropping the noise. And they did that in a few ways. The selector switch up in the front operates relays that are in the back to open and close. Selector switches are not your friend, but you know what? In many, many cases, you gotta use them. You gotta use them, right? But the best way to do it, and if you're gonna name your amplifier Envy, you want to do it with relays, and that's what they have done. And all of those relays, they're back here in a Faraday Shield, right, to protect them. That is one Faraday Shield. That is one shield to keep the noise out. Now, what is a relay about anyway, right? Selector switches have a wiper, you know, like your dad's TV set did, and those things always get dirty. They never turn off the other inputs completely. Sometimes you can pick up noise through unused inputs. This one, the inputs are grounded, so they're all shorted out unless your selector opens one of them up to let the signals flow through. At that point, that one flows through, the other ones are shut, no way for noise to get in, and that's what they have done. What else did they do? They put this other Faraday Shield. This is all the power supply up here. This is the bridge rectifier up here. Nice big filter cap. Nice, really, really nice quality parts. Now, I can see over here, I don't have a schematic of it, but I can tell there's another power supply over here with its own transformer. And I suspect that's going to be for the filament supply because it is a DC filament supply, which I applaud them for that. I've seen some very expensive products that don't have that. And that's another way to drop the noise floor, drop the noise floor. And then all of that is behind another Faraday Shield. Again, another way to protect the sensitive front end from any noise from the power supply. How cool is that? Oh my God, I just love this shit. Now up here, you're gonna see it's all point-to-point wiring, all of it. Now the wiring is in a Teflon jacket. And actually, they do that at the factory, right? All the Teflon jacketing is done at the factory. In the step-up performance version, you get Neotech wiring, which is a POCC single crystal copper wire, which is a much nicer cable. And it, too, is also wrapped in that jacketing. So that's another upgrade that you get in the performance model. Look at over here. This is what's called a star grounding, okay? So you have a single ground point. I mean, that's really, really super well thought out. Josh, who is my service manager, but he's also a slick engineer, right? He knows what's happening. He looked at this and he goes, man, I'm telling you, I don't know who laid this out, but they knew what they were doing, right? I mean, everything is done the right way, including this grounding scheme. God, it's just so bitchin'. So like I said, you have 3 sets of input levels, okay? And you can call them impedance settings, but you can't really think of them that way because the high impedance setting also offers you the highest power, right? Up to 6 watts. But low impedance headphones, planar magnetic headphones are oftentimes a very low impedance. So you'll still end up using the high impedance setting. Look, just like I tell you, when it comes to hooking up speakers to a tube amp that has a 4-ohm tap and an 8-ohm tap for speakers, don't pay attention to that. Flip it to the switch where it sounds best to you. That's the best way to handle what setting to use for impedance. Oh man, I gotta tell you something. I just love this thing. Oh, and before I forget, the transformer company. Transformers are so important, and they went with Edis Oganowski, a company in Poland that is known for doing custom output transformers and power transformers. And this company makes unbelievable stuff. So yeah, so it's got up to 16 volts out. It's got up to 6 watts out. I mean, I can't think of anything that it really can't drive that I've ever come across. I mean, we were throwing everything at it at the show. You should have seen it at Can Jam. I mean, people were lined up. We took two of them out there, and people were just waiting to hear them, and they were the hit of the show. I applaud Feliks Audio. I love this company. I love the people that own it. They are super, super cool. People over in Eastern Europe and Central Europe, over that part of the world, there are such amazing products coming out of there. And I love the people at this company because they are just into it. I mean, they don't think about rules. They just think about what works and what sounds good. So go check out a Feliks Audio. Go check out an Envy. If you can't afford one of those, look at their OTL amps because those are extremely affordable. And if we can help you from Upscale Audio, make sure you reach out to our experts and we will get you the hookup. Thanks for listening.